People ask Reddit, what is the darkest thing you have kept from your partner? He wanted to find a shark tooth so badly after I found one at the beach. So I went and bought a small bottle of shark teeth from the gift shop, spread them out all over a strip of beach we were hanging at, and marveled at every shark tooth he brought me. I can never tell him the truth. Posted this before, but I never told my wife that her mother tried to have sex with me. It was early in our marriage when we were living with her to save money for our own place. Her marriage of 28 years had ended badly and she was emotionally fragile. She was very drunk and was absolutely horrified at what she had done when she sobered up. I promised not to ever tell my wife, and I never did, even when she and I were fighting near the end of our marriage. Some things are too cruel to do, even when you're trying to hurt each other. Reply: you had Exodia just in case. Reply: my girlfriend's mom had a love-hate relationship with black people. She was adamant when we got together, we were both 17 at the time, that it was a bad idea, and all of her driving points kept resorting to my skin color. I'm a really good dude, so I've always dismissed racism. However, over time she made a lot of comments about me being handsome and grabbed my D one night when she tripped and fell forward on me in her kitchen. Her whole family, including my GF and her dad who had just got out of prison, were present. Except my girlfriend prick of a stepdad was in the other room, so this was mad awkward and I had to play it off as just the big black dude catching the small white woman. But her mom definitely got a handful of my nuts while my GF's whole family was drunk. I don't talk about it, but my GF has said on many occasions she feels her mom would smash me if I weren't smashing her daughter. TLDR, I am in an interracial relationship and my GF's mom drunkenly grabbed my crotch after pretending to not be into black men most of her life. She farts in her sleep like a wild bear. Yeah, my wife wakes up with ungodly stinking breath. She always wants a kiss and a cuddle when she wakes up, so I just take it on the chin, or in the mouth to be more precise. I never have the heart to tell her, especially when she is perfect in every other way. I know several people who ate very healthy but still had bad breath in the morning or late at night. I didn't tell them for years. One day I decided to tell them as sweet and light as possible. They were surprised because nobody had told them before. They went to the doctor and all the bad breath were related to some stomach problems with bacteria and reflux. They are better now. Maybe this is a sign that something is not 100% okay with her, and it's better that you find a way to tell her. It does not have to be a conversation about how this has happened all her life with you, but something recursive, for example. I am sure you can find the way. Smile. Exactly how bad of a person I used to be before I met her. She knows I was into the drugs and some other dumb shit, but she doesn't know the depths of depravity I delved to in order to fit in with the people I mistakenly wasted my time with. Reply: I can relate, dude. I'm clean now, and sometimes a memory crosses my mind from the dark days and I get chills thinking, how if my wife, parents, siblings ever found out, they'd never be able to look at me the same. Feel like I'm living a lie sometimes. 010 would not recommend. Edit: just want to say thanks to anyone who left a comment or me with kind words. Had a rough day yesterday, and it was a really nice surprise waking up this morning and reading everything. Really truly made my day, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. To anyone struggling with kicking alcoholism or drug addiction, don't give up and always keep battling. It is a long, painful road, but I promise you that it gets better. We can't change our past, but the future is yours to shape how you want it. Never stop fighting. I thought she liked cantaloupe. She thought I liked cantaloupe. So we had a lot of cantaloupe with dinner. Turns out we both don't like it. That I may have been a victim of child porn. A buddy of mine in college told us he was in a porn, and we were like, pics or it didn't happen. Then he showed us and we were like, dude, you are like 14 tops here and clearly very drunk or drugged. We told him he should report it, but he said he didn't really remember much about it or even who the people were. He met them on the street or something. It was one of those things where he seemed to have processed it as something he should be proud of, in the sense of I got to have sex with 2 women, even though I don't remember it. But also felt weird about. I have no idea what we should have done as his friends. I lost touch with him, but I hope he is doing well. She's my ex now, but she had just revealed to me some very, Confidential information, info I understand I'm one of only 4 people to know. She asked me if I have any deep secrets like that. I lied and told her I didn't, but the truth is, my grandmother by marriage, no blood relation, sexually harassed and abused me as a preteen and teenager. Literally nobody Earl knows. I've never told anyone. Reply: I've read that if a child or adolescent doesn't tell someone after the first time it happens, they keep the secret out of guilt of allowing it to happen to them again. Saying it out loud perhaps brings the realization that a huge reaction is now going to happen and many don't want to face it. It's really tough, and I so hope you know that it's not your fault, and it's a burden you just shouldn't have to bear. Her father once told me, if he could go back in time, he would never have dated her mother and have kids with her. Was pretty shocking thing to hear while on vacation with the whole step family. The guy has Asperger's. Weird family. The girl left me cold turkey a few months later after 7 years together, and I still didn't even think about telling her that story. Not my GF now, but she didn't know the extent or details of my childhood struggles. She knew I grew up in the projects up until age 10, but I think because I never wore it like a badge of honor, or carried myself in the stereotypical way of someone who would come from that environment, many people think I was unaffected. And I never bothered to share those details because I never wanted to make a sob story out of a situation that I was blessed to get out of and that many people are still currently in. But that living situation has taken a toll on me in various ways that I'd love to expound upon for those who are interested. Reply: Please explain more, I am interested. I haven't had consistent sleep in over a decade, I am currently only 19. Instances of waking up to sirens and gunshots and also never being comfortable in a bed. I slept in the same bed with my mom up until age 11. She made me and my sister do this because if something were to happen, i.e. a robbery, she could react faster and get us all out in one go, rather than go room to room and risk wasting valuable time. Even when I eventually got my own room, it took me a year to start actually using it. And even until this day, I yearn for a GF in part to be able to sleep again. Also, I can also be either incredibly clingy or incredibly distant at times, and I do think the lack of any degree of personal space for so long played a part. I grew up fatherless for a period of time due to his incarceration. When he did come back, he wasn't exactly grateful or appreciative, but rather incredibly angry. Not exactly with us, but with life itself it seemed. I don't blame him, necessarily. He's had a rough go at life. But one distinct memory I have of him was him beating our cat with a flip-flop because she shitted on the floor and then literally tossing her outside and locking the door. I cried, went outside and just pet her for hours on the porch. And his overall attitude just made me not like him at all. I've grown to appreciate and love him now, but it took a ton of time and effort to on my part to do so, while loving pretty much every else I do now was effortless. My sister was very depressed because our cousin was murdered around the corner from us. And I understand now once I got older, but I spent such a long time believing she did not like me at all because she was never really happy and incredibly distant. I always seemed like I was annoying her and an embarrassment to the few company she'd managed to get. On top of that, she's 5 years older than me. So add the fact that we are always at 2 different points in life, it just was hard for me to connect with her until I reached my teen years and had a better understanding. Was always the youngest person of every friend group. I struggled finding my identity because I was always trying to impress people as a survival tactic, rather than actually showcase myself. I didn't want to piss the wrong people off and be harassed or even killed. Sounds extreme, but that's just how it is in that environment. And because of me being so young, I easily got into shit I wasn't supposed to be by just hanging around older friends. I've seen dead bodies, junkies, sex at an extremely young age, the list goes on. We had a terrible bedbug infestation for a while and the slightest movement of hair on my body triggers the most uncomfortable chill through my body. Seeing some like a tiny fluff of black yarn or something makes my heart pound. Typically wore the same clothes multiple times in a week because we didn't have the money for full wardrobes, so I endured a ton of ridicule throughout elementary school by people who were supposed to be my friends. Hand-me-downs were mandatory, and since I was the youngest, would get them in the worst conditions, so I had to wear busted shoes and clothes often. Because I was the only boy in the household for so long, I didn't have another male figure to look up to. My older brother and I don't have share the same mother, but share the same father. And he does not like me at all. Not because of anything I did, but rather he hates our dad and I'm viewed as an extension of him. So I spent years as a kid and early teen thinking that I did something wrong for him to have not seen me in years. And in that environment, him being there for me would have been so helpful. He was still a kid himself, so I don't hate him for it. It just hurts me to say that I do not care for my own brother. He just never wanted anything to do with me, so I stopped caring about it. My immediate family has always been looked at the scum of the family on my dad's side. My dad's side hates my mom because they wanted my dad to marry his first baby mother, even though she left my dad and they were on good terms, and thus hates my sister because she's very similar to my mom. They love me because I'm very similar to my dad in characteristics and mannerisms, I suppose, but I hate them because they hate my mom even to this day and were extremely abusive to my sister. And that honestly feels like the tip of the iceberg. I could go on and on. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.